think they've ever tried to use this while the fireplace was on?
Wilhelmina. I hope this letter finds you well. No, it's too stilted. It sounds like I'm writing to request a loan. Dearest Wilhelmina, I regret to tell you... Law, no, that's worse. When have I ever called her dearest? She's my daughter. This should be easy. How can a mother not know how to talk to her own daughter? My love, I can no longer... For your safety, I must... Oh, hell. Even if she despises me for what I had to do, I should still be able to say goodbye. Minnie, I have to leave, and I don't intend to come back. I love you. I'm so sorry.
So who the devil are you? You don't say. Well, make yourself at home, Captain. I'm sure we have much to discuss. Do you see that glowing chunk of space rock? That's Gorgon. My birthright, my burden, and the bane of my existence. I hate to drink alone, and this is my third. So join me in raising a glass. To Gorgon. That's right. The Gorgon asteroid is pretty to look at, but evil to the core. I raise a glass to my adversary out of respect. That's right. And I take it you're the type who skips formalities, so let's get down to business. Now, what brings you to my house, handsome? I take it you didn't come all this way for the beverages, the starry skies, or the pleasant company. A severed arm. How positively ghoulish. You know this is a private residence, not a curio shop? Lucky Montoya is my personal freelancer. Fascinating man. Very brooding and theatrical. Always staring into space and twirling a bullet over his knuckles.
He's definitely not doing that anymore.
But if something happened to him... Oh dear. I suppose that makes him my former freelancer now? I sent Lucky on a dangerous mission to the Gorgon asteroid. Whoever found his remains must have wanted to inform the next of kin. What a time for his luck to run out. We were in the middle of something grand, and I really can't afford another setback. Settling an old score. How would you like to be my new freelancer? There's been a recent vacancy, and I think you're well suited to the job.
Remember, Play hard to get. That's negotiation.
You're awful quick to trust a bunch of strangers that broke into your home.
I'm looking for someone rough around the edges. A gorgeous, dashing scoundrel type. Incidentally, someone good with their hands. The man lost an arm. What are the odds of that happening twice? Of course, Gorgon is a treacherous place, and my own family's involvement with it has been fraught. Allow me to lay out the facts, and you can decide for yourself if you want to be my chief investigator. My mother, Dr. Olivia Ambrose, worked for Spacer's Choice at the Gorgon Research Facility. She was brilliant, the top scientist in her field, until tragedy struck. One day, Spacer's Choice shut down all research and evacuated Gorgon. Everyone had to scramble or risk getting left behind. It was chaos. Employees fled for their lives. Mother never made it home. I'm told she wasn't the only casualty that fateful day. Mother's name has since been dragged through the mud. Spacer's Choice blames her for the collapse of Project Gorgon, and I just know they're lying. Everything you can imagine and more. Dereliction of duty, circulating anti-corporate memos, taking longer than average coffee breaks. The list goes on. Mother would not have allowed Project Gorgon to fail. Something happened on that asteroid, and my family took the fall for it. I admired Mother, but we weren't close. She disapproved of everything about me, really. I couldn't measure up to her example. She didn't make time for us. I remember thinking that she never wanted a child, and never forgave me for being one, naive and irresponsible as I was. Mother worked herself to the bone. She wanted to make the colony a better place, no matter who or what got sacrificed along the way. She never spared a thought for those of us who cherished her, who suffered for her idea of progress. It was difficult on us, but not so difficult for her. Mother and Gorgon were made for each other. I had the misfortune to be stuck in the middle. I don't know, and Spacer's Choice won't say. They don't discuss anything that tarnishes their brand. Gorgon has a dark history. The project fell apart. Personnel were shuffled across the system. With Mother gone, now I'm all that's left. Father lost more than his job on Gorgon. I'll say no more than that. The asteroid may look like a glittering jewel, but I assure you the resemblance ends there. Gorgon is poisonous to the core. One might even say cursed. I need your help, Captain. Project Gorgon killed Mother and disgraced the Ambrose name, and no one has been held accountable. Spacer's Choice buried the past like a dirty secret. You followed an uncertain lead all the way to my doorstep. You're curious, resourceful, and perceptive. All the marks of a good private eye. Whatever happened on Gorgon wasn't Mother's fault. I simply need the evidence to prove it. We're going to drag the truth kicking and screaming into the light. Even if it means bringing ruin and humiliation to Spacer's Choice. All the evidence I need should be in Mother's journal. You can find it in her office on Gorgon, in the heart of the old research facility. I'm not surprised. Between the family drama and the corporate conspiracy, it must feel like you've stepped on a landmine. Speak freely, Captain. I suspect it will prove that corporate greed and incompetence were to blame for the calamity at Gorgon, and not Mother. Mother was a brilliant woman. Difficult, cold, unreachable even, but brilliant. Spacer's Choice evacuated in a hurry, leaving a fortune's worth of equipment in their wake. Mother's journal would have escaped their notice. This is my last hope of redeeming the Ambrose name. I don't like my chances, but I have to try. And I need help. Your help. I didn't want to go anywhere near Gorgon. Once I exhausted all my options, the search led me back here. I even had Mother declared legally dead. Would you believe it took 5 years to process the paperwork? It isn't as bad as you make it sound, but technically, yes. Mother's body is still on Gorgon. No body means no death certificate, which means no inheritance. I killed Mother, just on paper, of course, so I could claim my inheritance. We wouldn't be standing here if I didn't have access to the family fortune. I once assumed the mansion and the money would be enough to redeem the Ambrose name. But even in Byzantium, prestige must be earned, and it can so easily be lost.
You know, some people work hard just to break out.
Break back into high society, yes. I'm trying to do several things at once. None of them easy. The smear campaign against Mother was the work of cowards. I'm vindicating the family name for her, for the colony, and for my future. My future as the head of the Ambrose family business, where I can wield my fortune like a cudgel. This colony is in trouble. The lunatics at Spacer's Choice are running the asylum, and we need better people to wield their influence. After Gorgon, I quickly discovered that the Ambrose name was cursed, for lack of a better term. I had no place among the decision makers. No seat at the table.
That's Byzantium for you. Gossip mongering's a bigger sport than tossball.
That is why I'm clearing the record and vindicating the Ambrose line. For Mother, for me, and for the generations who will one day inherit Halcyon. I know it will. You know as much as I do, I'm afraid. Spacer's Choice abandoned Gorgon, but the asteroid is far from unoccupied. Between the marauders, the wildlife, and whatever escaped the labs, danger abounds. Your guess is as good as mine. I know that Spacer's Choice bred canids, especially for Gorgon. They were supposed to act as living cattle prods. By now, they've probably gone feral. Just watch yourself. If you aren't careful, you stand to lose more than an arm. I believe that covers it all. Are you ready to get started? We mustn't allow the trail to get cold. By all means, go and see what you're up against. I'm certain Mother's journal won't go far. When you reach Gorgon, pack a weapon you trust. A corporate lockdown hasn't stopped the wilderness from squirming in through the cracks. I've never understood why, but Gorgon is teeming with marauders. They almost seem drawn to sorrow and misfortune. Then there's the test subjects, those who survived anyway. Ravenous creatures left behind like so much salvage. I told him everything I've told you. Just the facts. Maybe a couple of harmless embellishments. Why? Still, you're smart to ask. Lucky spent most of our time together spinning a pistol around his index finger. Not sure he listened to any of my advice.
More bravado than talent, huh? I know the type.
He had an aura of rugged individualism that was quite charming. Not that it helped him in the end. But you won't let me down, will you, Captain? Perhaps we should cut the Q&A short in that case. I don't want you having second thoughts. There's a little saloon near Gorgon's landing pad, the Sprat Shack. Lucky was renting a room, so if you want to follow his trail, that would be the place to start.
I think I've heard of that place. Cheap whiskey, rough crowd. You'll love it.
Ought to stop in and taste the local flavor.
Just so we understand each other, money is no object. I'm willing to squander the family fortune if you get me what I want. Between your payment and any salvage you happen across, you'll walk away from this rich enough to buy a mansion of your own. How does that sound? A consummate professional. That shouldn't be a problem. Here's your nav key, Captain. Safe travels. Spacer's Choice should be the one apologizing, but thank you. Sincerely. A word of advice before you go, Captain. Trust no one. Mother's office is in the heart of the Gorgon facility. You're free to salvage anything that isn't nailed down. I only want what's mine.
Salvage rights and a paycheck? This is almost too good to be true.
It's not theft if she's giving us permission.
Forgive the mess. I'm still unpacking and everything's covered in dust. Someone's been snooping around. Not that I mind. It reminds me why I hired you in the first place. For your keen eyes and scandalous disregard for privacy. When I left home, I wanted Mother and Father to know the conditions of my return. I would stroll through the entrance with my head held high, or not at all. I left this place with every intention of returning once the time was right. When I arrived, I was the toast of the town. All fought for the honor of lighting my cigarettes. The attention was sublime. I opened a small firm to help young, impressionable heirs manage their family wealth. Business was good. For a while.